So welcome to week 2 of the free 6-week digital marketing course. Hi, Jason. Jason's just arrived as well. So just wanted to check how you guys got on with last week. I know a couple of you sent through workbooks that you'd updated your content. Jane, do you want to unmute yourself? How did you get on with it? Did it make sense? Have you identified the perfect avatar?
It did make sense, but I've not had time to complete stuff and send it off to you. So yeah, I have to do 2 jobs at the moment.
No problem. Well, I think as you kind of find as you go forward, that avatar, the way that avatar is used will become more and more important. So yeah, on some of the stuff going forward, when you're designing adverts, designing pages, it becomes more important. And actually, instead of just kind of going, well, we can supply our stuff to anyone, having a target means that you can get it straight on focus. And I think one of the things that kind of previous course members kind of suggested was that, well, actually I can get, someone sent me a document that says, well, I can do age 16 to 65, males to females, and yes, they've got children, and no, they've got children, right? I was like, well, that's not really targeting at all, because that's pretty much an adult, all adults, right? So what we kind of identified with that person when we looked at it in detail is we identified 4 different avatars. This was a guy doing a cycling thing, and he kind of went, okay, well, these are business professionals, age 22 to 35, female, not got children, but just want to kind of get fitter. Then you've got mums that have children that want to get fitter after having kids, ladies that lunch, and they've got grandchildren. And then you've got keen cyclists who basically want to change their performance, right? And the motivations in those different groups are very different. So even though, there'll be a crossover between some of those people, their motivations and how you target them will be very different, right? And that's where the importance of that comes, because once you get everything aligned, then it will make it easier to convert them. So today we're going to talk about thank you pages, your website copy, social proof, and call to actions. We're going to just dip into social proof a little bit, and call to because we do a full section on it. Is so important that we do a full week on it further in the course. There will be the downloads if you've not got the workbook already, but I think all you guys have got it already, so we won't go into that. Any questions on last week before we wade into going forward in this week stuff? Good, I can see your nods heading. So before we do anything with any customer on their marketing, we always start with a big thank you, right? And what that means is that the most important page on the website this is kind of a standard WordPress form, right? And when people fill it in, the standard thing that will happen is a tiny little message will appear at the bottom, right? Whereas what I want to happen is when somebody fills in the form, I want them to be redirected to a specific thank you page, right? And there are multiple reasons for this thank you page, right? The most important reason is the top right-hand corner, and that's the URL, right? Because the URL changes, inside Google Analytics, I can measure how many people have hit the thank you page, right? And I can measure why those people have arrived at the thank you page, what pages they looked at on the way, how they got to the website in the first place. So it's that URL code makes it really important for me to track everything that we're doing, right? So this is the foundation of what I do with every customer. When I build them a website, when I take over a website, when I start a marketing campaign, I always check that their forms are trackable and they redirect to a thank you page, because this is the measure that we use for everything, right? Also, you want to explicitly thank the person. If that tiny little message pops up, sometimes people will miss the message and hit the submit button multiple times. So I get lots of customers that go, yeah, for some reason, every time I get the form 2 or 3 times, and that's not because the form's not working. That's because the customer hasn't realized that the form has actually succeeded and sent the email. So they just hit the button multiple times, right? Then the other thing is you want to set customers' expectations. If you are on it when you receive an inquiry and you get back to people within 15, 20 minutes, then state that so they understand that they've inquired. We're going to call you, as you know, in the next half an hour, right? Whereas if you're a sole trader and you get back to people in 24 hours, or you've got another job, just set their expectations. Thank you for your inquiry. We normally respond to inquiries in 24 hours. If that's the case, you might want to give them the alternative and say, if your inquiry is urgent, please call this number, right? Set their expectations. Nothing more frustrating than actually filling in a form on a website, expecting to get a response in the next couple of hours and waiting 2 days for it. Okay. What this thank you page does really well is it actually shows more examples of case studies for this client. So this commercial and at home for this upholstery company shows more examples of their restaurants and theaters, or more examples of their sofas and, you know, kind of, you know, chair reupholstery. So what this page did was, this page was actually so successful at ensuring customers that they were good. Less people left the website, more people looked at case studies, and their quote acceptance rate, so their sales conversion rate, went up by about 8% simply by adding this thank you page, right? So a thank you page, by adding testimonials and case studies to the thank you page, can mean that more people will accept your quote when you send it to them. Okay. But the most important thing is using that URL to test and measure. And once you've got that in there, you can actually use that to see what pages on your website are the best pages for converting into business. So this is a screen grab of Google Analytics, right? The goal conversion that we have on this website is when somebody fills in the form, they get redirected to the thank you page, right? Now, these are the landing pages on the website. The slash is the home page, so we can see that the home page is okay, right? I can see that the property type chateau page for this customer gets a vast amount of traffic, but doesn't do the best at converting. And that's because you've got those programs, you know, Escape to the Chateau. People are always dreaming about buying a castle in France, but very few of them actually do it, right? Whereas if people are searching and landing on this coastal page or landing on this lake page, it's got a 2% conversion rate. So actually their best page is their lake page and then their coastal page. So if you look at the pages which are performing best, then you can try and replicate what's on them for the other pages if possible. It could be that it's just the wrong type of traffic, but it gives you an understanding of which pages are working the best. And it is not normally the home page which is the best performer. Okay. So the question I've got for you on yours is, do your websites have a thank you page? Right. So Jane, is it a contact form on your website? It is, isn't it?
Yes, got a contact form, yeah.
Does it redirect to a thank you page?
I don't know, actually. I need to check.
Yep, you're welcome. You've got time to go and test it now if you want.
Yeah, okay.
Now, Andrew, yours is a combination. You've probably got an inquiry form and an e-commerce site, haven't you?
Yeah, I've got a form on mine. I'm not sure where it is the thank you page.
With the e-commerce site, because it's an acceptance of an order, it's like an order confirmation page. Right?
Yeah.
The question with yours, Thomas, I don't know about yours, is people are booking in for your salon. So I don't know what the process is on your website and whether they go to a page that you can track.
Yeah, it's a bit difficult, I think. We have like an inquiry section where it comes through to our email, but
it's that page that you need to track, as well as if somebody can book on the website.
Yeah, because you don't do online bookings, that's the thing.
Oh, okay. So in which case you definitely need the inquiry form to redirect to a thank you page.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
And that won't be a standard feature, but you can put a bit of code into your website in WordPress, in Wix, to redirect it to a new page.
Oh, okay.
Jason, I don't know about yours. Does yours redirect? No, Jason's quiet on us. Okay. Jane, did yours redirect?
So the contact one doesn't, so I need to fix that, but my WhatsApp one does.
Okay, so you've got one that does and one that doesn't.
Sorry, no, ours doesn't, Bradley.
Okay, so really in your workbook, that is the first thing that you need to check, yes or no. Does it redirect or does it not? And anytime I'm doing this for any marketing for customers, this is my first action, because this is the way that I measure success. Okay. So then we want to understand what is a landing page, because obviously with this report, this is understanding all of the pages on the website. And if you look at this website has got, in this time period, this website's got 500,000 sessions, so 500,000 visitors, and only 18% are arriving at the homepage. Right? Now, most people consider the homepage to be the most important, but they spend most of their time working on the homepage and they spend a lot less time working on the others. But actually, all of your pages need to be treated as landing pages, because there's going to be traffic arriving at all of the pages of your website, not just the homepage. Right? And that's true of when people search for you on Google, they're going to arrive at different pages. You can choose within Google Ads what page they land on. Within Facebook, it's the link that you give them. Within YouTube, it's the link, MailChimp, LinkedIn. So the landing page is not the homepage, and it's that landing page which then needs to convert those people either to buy something and add it to the cart, or to make them inquire and then they enter your sales funnel, where you get back to them and try and convert them into a customer. Okay. So that means that every single page is the homepage. The homepage, the About Us page, the services page, you know, the different options on there, the Contact Us page. Every single one of those has got to do the same job and convert customers that arrive. Right? So normally a homepage will get between 15% and 40% of traffic, normally not more than that. If the homepage is getting more than 40% of the traffic, then the rest of your website is what it needs to do. Okay. So what we're going to look at now is the essential things that you need to put into each of your landing pages. So first of all, your landing pages need to be fast to load, right? If it takes more than 3 seconds to load, then you will get a huge bounce rate, as in people will not wait for the thing to load. They will give up and go away and go somewhere else. Now, that will not be everybody, but the longer it takes to load, the less people will actually be patient enough to wait for it. I did have one customer who came to us because his website wasn't converting anything, and it was just on a terrible server, and it was taking 16 seconds to load, right? And unsurprisingly, nobody was waiting, right? So the first thing that you want to do is make sure that there is a clear headline at the top of your page, right? Can you sum up your business in 3 to 10 words, right? So here's an example, right? So this is a courier company, right? So we do multiple things on there. We put as the call to action at the top, request a delivery. The navigation has same day courier, express courier, light haulage. The strap line is same day express courier specialist. We've got a picture of a van with courier written all over it. And we've got 3 kind of buttons here, which are same day delivery, express delivery, and light haulage. So it should be instantly apparent what you do without somebody needing to engage their brain, right? And what you'll find is you go to some graphic designers and they are so obsessed with image and what your brand looks like that they actually forget the point of what you do. And the fact that when somebody arrives, not only has it got to load quickly, but they have to be instantly understand without thinking about it what you do, right? So does your website have a clear strap line that explains what you do and what you are? Like this, we are your same day express courier specialist, right? This is another one. So this is a Central Housing Group. They are a letting agent. So their logo as letting agent, but they're a guaranteed rent specialist, right? So the keyword that we're after and we advertise on a lot is guaranteed rent, because that's what people are searching for. right? So we've got guaranteed rent. We've got guaranteed rent at the top, guaranteed rent here, and guaranteed rent here, right? And it's got a very low bounce rate because of it, because people are arriving. So the question is, does your website have a clear headline, right? Can you put in the chat a yes and a no, and just type in what your headline is, please? Okay. If it's a no, Andrew, do you want to type in what you think your headline should be?
Yeah, we'll try.
Jane, is it organic? No. Okay.
Not all of it, no.
Okay. So I would suggest that you split that into two.
Okay.
Because the big strap line is what you do, which is handmade artisan soap.
Yeah.
So you make that the big bit, and then underneath, in kind of a slightly smaller font, you can have using natural oils, butter, and essential oils.
Yeah, at the moment it's the other way around.
Yeah, because the important bit is the fact that you're doing handmade artisan soap.
Yeah.
Jason has got your local credit union for Nottinghamshire and Lincolnshire. So, Jason, what is credit union? As a Joe Blogs punter, what is, do I understand what? I'm not sure I fully understand what credit union is.
Yeah, I think that's the problem we have. That's why I'm here.
Yeah.
Nobody knows what we're about, and we're about financial inclusion, so helping people who generally don't have access to loans. We want to help you get a loan. If you, rather than going to things like, well, Provident have collapsed, but Provident Everyday Loans, and if you guys have heard of them, but they do APRs that are over 100%.
Yeah.
Our highest APR is 42.6, and within that, we encourage people to save as well at the same time. So if you borrow a loan from us for a washing machine, we'd say we'll save along that side that loan now. So if your washing machine breaks again, you don't need to get a loan. You'll have the money behind you.
Yeah. It's complicated, right?
Very.
But basically, it's about credit. Credit for poor credit if they've got a poor credit rating, is it?
Well, we could help anyone from a poor credit rating to a good one. It's more of a case of don't go to loan sharks, don't go to high cost lenders. If you can't get a loan from the bank, we should be your second point of call.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's a tricky one. Yeah, so it's loans and credit, at competitive rates.
Yeah.
Is it geographically sensitive? Why is it geographically sensitive?
Because we have a common bond area, so you have to live or work in Nottingham, Lincolnshire, or you have to be one of our payroll partners.
Yeah.
So, for example, you need to work for Boots. You could work for Boots in anywhere in the country, but they have to be one of our payroll partners. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. It does need a bit of refining, doesn't it?
Yes, a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think it's, as the top line, it's credit at competitive rates in Lincolnshire and Northamptonshire. So it's credit is what it is, right?
Sure.
Yeah. Thomas, Hair Branch. Cruelty free. I mean, starting with cruelty free makes it sound like that a normal hairdressers are cruel. You're on mute, Thomas.
In my opinion, they are.
Well, yeah. So just so you guys understand, Thomas has a vegan
hair salon, which is environmentally conscious.
Yeah. So I think you start with vegan hair salon as the big strapline.
We have the vegan logo underneath because somebody did tell us, and that was a good point, that some vegans are referred to as militant vegans, so they make everybody else feel really bad if they're not a vegan. So if you put it at the start, it makes you seem a bit pretentious, which is probably the. So I kind of put the symbol underneath, rather than because if you put vegan at the start, some people are automatically kind of like, oh god, it's one of them.
Yeah, but it's the wrong way to word it, because it's cruelty free at the start. The word that you focus on is cruelty, even though you've got cruelty free, right?
So where should
you need hair salon at the start,
right? Okay.
And then so you just need to kind of word it differently.
Okay, so hair salon at the start.
You need hair salon as the opener.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Okay. So obviously you've got a clear headline, right? And the headline, obviously, within your workbook, this section, you've got this for you can do this for multiple pages on your book. So at the moment, the first one that you're looking at is your homepage. But if you've got a separate page with a separate product or service, then obviously the headline needs to be relevant to that product or that service. Okay. So it's not the same headline for every page. It needs to be relevant to that page. Okay. Next, we want to talk about the call to action, right? And you want a clear and non-passive call to action, which is like direct. You want somebody to do something, ask them to do it. You want them to buy now, book a call, get a quote, or help me choose. Whereas a non-clear or passive one would be find out more, read more, discover more, learn more, right? Now, there was a really good example where Dell, who sell obviously millions of pounds worth of home computers, on their website did a series of A to B testing. And on their website, they had the button at the bottom of all of these details about how fast the bus was and how big the megabits were and how big the drive was and the RAM and all this stuff. And most people, they don't understand that stuff. So when they're looking to buy a computer, the last thing they want to do is learn more about what they already do not understand, right? So they did A to B testing between learn more and help me choose. And because their customers were already confused, by changing the button to help me choose, it meant that they sold about £1 million worth more computers per month. So the wording in your call to action is really important, right? And it can make a vast difference as to who pushes that button, right? Okay. And then you get different types of call to actions depending on how ready your customer is to proceed and purchase, right? So if your customer's in the green and they're ready to buy, yes, they're ready to buy, then you use a buy now button or get a quote, right? If they're interested, but they're not 100% committed, then you need to give them something where you can fill in their details, or they turn up at a webinar or a viewing or a taster session, or order a sample, Jane, whatever it is that you want them to do. Whereas if they're really kind of lukewarm and not yet, then you need to give them the ability to sign up to your emails. You need to give them like a white paper or something that you can capture their email address, or make them like you on Facebook or Instagram, so that you have the opportunity to capture them, so you can continue to market to those people, right? So the call to actions that we tend to put on a website, we will put 3 call to actions next to each other based on how much, and we will do them in an order of buy now or book a call, get a quote. And then we'll do, okay, free webinar. And then next to that, we'll go, download this white paper, learn how to do it yourself, right? And most people will download the free white paper, realize that it's really damn complicated, and then need help to do it themselves anyway, right? So they're the 3 things that you would kind of want to put as your 3 call to actions. So the question is, do you have a call to action on your website? What is your call to action? So can you just type into the chat what the button is that you are asking people to complete on your website, and is it clear on your landing pages? I mean, we're going to presume that your main landing page is your home page at this point, because you've not done this process to all of your pages. So Andrew's put shop now. So shop now's the getting to the product, yes, Andrew, from the homepage.
Yeah, I've got 4 big banners at the top of the pages that scroll around, and obviously they're in different sections. Yep. One's metal wall art, one's canvas, but there's a shop now button on every banner.
Yep.
So I haven't got a red and an amber call to action for the people that are cold and warm.
Yeah, so the kind of the red one would be the subscribe to see our latest to get the email with our latest artwork, or
which pretty much pops up on every page that you go on to.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's an exit pop-up, wasn't it? I seem to remember.
Yeah, there's a pop-up on each one. Yeah.
Click here to find out more and apply for a loan. That's a big call to action, Jason. Yeah, I think you've got two buttons in one there. One is to find out more, which is the passive, but apply for the loan is the non-passive. It's the clear one. So it's like you want a separate button, which is just apply now, and then a separate one, which is find out more or compare our rates, because that's what people want to know, right? And Jane is shop now. Yeah, buying a gift. Buying a gift's a bit whirly, Jane, but yeah.
It goes on to give an example of what you could buy for a gift, and then takes you directly to where it is.
Yeah.
So there's a bit more words underneath it.
Yeah. Okay. And hair branches, treat yourself. Is that the actual button? Treat yourself. Thomas, you're on mute again. Sorry.
This thing is so different. It sort of has an arrow that points to the button which is hair services, but then the treat yourself is the more.
So ultimately, what you want is you want people to book an appointment.
Yeah.
So I think you need to, the treat yourself and the more services. They're the non-clear. They're the more passive.
Yeah.
And I think you need those, but people that arrive at your website, they're just going to go, okay, I need a haircut. Take me straight to the booking form.
Yeah. Okay. So I think definitely.
So you need to make a reservation button.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, because people want to get straight to what they need. Okay.
Okay.
So then the next thing that you want to do is list the 3 benefits or afters that your avatar is left with, that relates to your service, that relates to what they want in life. So remember when we talked about the avatars and we talked about the things that they want in life and their subliminal greatest wants, right? This is where understanding your avatars is going to help you do this, right? So the benefits that your service provides, will it help them get there faster? Will it make them safer? Will it make them more money? Can they retire early? Will it make them more beautiful? Will it be a talking point around the dinner table, Andrew? Right? So or will it save them money, Jason? Because one, it will be quick, because the question with loans is, how fast, will the decision be, and will the rates be favorable compared to other lending firms?
Yeah, so could do with putting something like that on there. We normally have a turnaround time within 48 hours.
Yep.
I don't think it's actually mentioned on our website anyway.
Well, the difficulty is when you're benchmarking that against other companies.
Yeah.
Is 48 hours fast or not? I don't know.
Not if you're one of those instant loan ones, no. Yeah. But we have to do a proper affordability assessments and everything. It's all done by person.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but then maybe, the fact that you're checking that they can afford it is one of your benefits.
True.
Right? Because they're not going to take a loan that they then can't afford, which gets them in more hot water. So that's when you're understanding your whys, right? So the afters are the results that people are left with after you have provided your service, right? So, for instance, here's kind of some examples. So if you provide training, then you're creating an increased productivity, right? And then the real life proof of that is that your profits might be up by 25% because even though using the same team, right? Or another example, it might be if you're providing online advertising, you might help the company grow and increase profits. And the real life proof might be that you've helped this company grow in a 3-year period, grow to a team of 17 and bought his first house, right? So understanding your avatar's afters, showing the evidence of the after that it has caused, right? So if you're a training provider, then it's not about the training, it's about the increased productivity and the increased profits, right? If you're a loan company, Jason, then it's about one, getting you out of hot water or buying the thing that they desire, right? And it's about not getting the high rates that other loan firms are giving them, right? So it's trying to understand the after, right? So the question is, do your landing pages talk about the benefits that your product provide and the afters that someone is left with after they have used your product? Jane, do you talk about softer skin? Yep.
It's probably easier to talk it than type it. Yeah, so on every product listing, it has starts off with the benefits of the soap, and it then goes into how you will feel once you've had that soap, mentally and physically, and then it goes into the more normal stuff that you need about ingredients, blah blah blah, the basic stuff. So it starts off with what you feel, how you feel mentally and physically if you have this soap, and then it goes into the other stuff later on, further down once you scroll down. That makes sense.
So Jason, I see you've put stuff in the chat. A lot of those are the actual process or the features. They're not the results of your service.
Yeah, from what you said earlier, I gathered that. Yeah.
So it's about trying to understand what the customer is left with afterwards, right? So if they were stressing because they couldn't pay a bill, then they're stress free, right? If they're wanting to, if they're aspiring to buy something, they haven't got the cash in the bank at that point, then they're looking flash because they've got some new wheels that they can't afford. So there's different afters depending on the individual, right? So it depends on their situation, and that depends on the avatar. So if you've got an avatar of somebody's situation, because their situation is they can't pay a bill, so this is us filling a gap, or their situation is they want to buy something fancy, and you're basically bankrolling, right?
Yeah.
Two very different avatars, right?
Yeah.
And I think the afters relate to their situation. Okay. So on your workbook, you've got a space to kind of pencil in three benefits, right? So, and you've got space to kind of list the main things that you do, the afters that it causes, and if you have it, the real life proof of where we've done it for this customer and this was the result for them. Okay. So if you want to take a few minutes now, just list what sort of things, also you've got to list out what sort of things are important to them when considering your product or service, and what problems does your service solve for the client. So this is the opposite for your avatar. So this is the away from motion, right? So obviously you need to list the benefits, right? but you also need to list the problems that your service solves, right? So this is the away from motion. So basically, these are their problems. In when we were doing the avatar profiles, these are the problems that your things solve, or it can be the fears that they have, right? So an example would be you stop wasting time, it prevents theft, or it will stop losing money, right? So you know, it's the flip of the towards, it's the away from motion. And kind of within different kind of sales texts, there are different kind of descriptions of this. What you're doing is you're basically taking the position of where the client is now and the position of where they want to be, right? And you're emphasizing the away from, and you're emphasizing the problem. So you're almost widening the gap from their current position to where they want to be, right? You're making it wider. So this, putting both on here, the towards with the solution and the away from with the problems, you're widening the gap. And then what you do within your website is you position yourself as the expert who is going to help them get to their destination. And because you've pointed out the problem and you've pointed out the solution, the after, you've widened the gap and you've put yourself in the position as the person to fix it for them. Okay. Does that make sense? So do you talk about the problems that your stuff solves on the site? Thomas, we keep losing you. Got terrible internet connection. You're on mute as well.
I know, I deal with it on a daily basis. So it is a very bad connection.
Yeah. So we're just asking, do you list the problems that your service solves on your website? Right. So Jane has put, yes, it helps with skin complaints, acne, etc. But have to be careful not to promise. Yeah, it's a tricky one with skin stuff, isn't it? It's slipping into the medical side, isn't it, when you kind of talk about that stuff? Okay. Must be a soft approach, yeah. So Jason, do you talk about, obviously some of yours, the features that you put kind of relate to some of it? I think it depends on the avatar.
Yeah, so we do advertise it will help people who have got poor credit and looking to build up their credit history. Well, that's about it, really.
I think there's a danger in that, though, Jason, is that if I'm someone that doesn't have a poor credit history, right, my perception of companies that deal with people that have poor credit histories have high rates of interest.
Yeah.
So if I'm somebody who doesn't have a poor credit rating, I don't want to land on a page where you're talking about people with poor credit rating, because my perception is that you're going to be delivering the wrong stuff and it's not for me.
Okay.
Right. So it's that avatar for you becomes more important again.
Yeah. So we need to adapt it so that different people land at different sections then.
Yes, 100%. And then when you're running your advertising, you target those people either depending on what they've searched for or how their avatars match their stuff. Now that can be really difficult to work out who is who and where they should land.
Yeah.
But it means that your homepage needs to almost split them into two separate kind of channels. So you kind of go, have you got a poor credit rating? Go here, you know, or do you just want some money to, you know, buy something nice? Go here.
Okay.
You almost need to, your homepage, which is generic, needs to not corral them down the same road.
Yeah. Have separate sections for different people.
Yeah. Hi, Anthony. No problem being late. We're kind of going through the stuff on the site, the landing page stuff.
Yeah, I apologize.
No problem. So you can put your problem solved in there. The next sections that we want to do is, if you want extra reading on this stuff, by the way, guys, these are the Andy Bounds books, and I talked about these briefly yesterday, but this is Andy Bounds, The Jelly Effect, and Andy Bounds, The Snowball Effect. The benefit of these books, which is good, the good bit about them is you don't need to read the whole book. You just find the section which is applicable to your situation and use it, right? So for instance, if you just want to write emails which more people will open and more people will read, there is one small paragraph which will help you write better emails, right? So they're very effective books in that respect and very worth reading. And Andy Bounds is all about the after, right? And I think I mentioned the other week when we were talking about the sales process, I used to sell a website by talking about the website, and then the SEO, and then, you know, the blog, and then the keywords, and then the extra traffic, and then the inquiries, and then you would be more profitable and you could retire early. Whereas if you swap it around and talk about retiring early, you've not bored somebody after the first 5 minutes, right? You've got their interest because you've tweaked their ears with their after. Go, oh yeah, I'd love to learn how to retire early. That's right up my street, right? So the next thing you need to do on all of your landing pages is show your authority, right? Basically, this is a customer's testimonial page, right? And what they've got on their landing pages is they've got the review section, which kind of goes down the right-hand side in the right-hand column. So on every page of their website, they've got this Trustpilot section, right? Which showing, you know, over 200 reviews, and it shows that they've got a 5-star rating, right? They also have a testimonials page with loads of details on there. And on the landing pages, they will show 1 or 2 testimonials further down the page. And then they will link you to the rest of the testimonials on that page as well. But it means that every single landing page has reviews and testimonials on them. So you can see that other people have tried and tested this customer first. So you, as a user, you're not risking what you're doing with them, right? And their testimonial page just keeps on giving. This tiny screenshot is a screenshot of the entire length of their testimonial page, right? Now, this is where you get to from all of the landing pages when you click the see more testimonials, right? There are 80+ testimonials on the page. 3% of the website visitors go to this page because there's a call to action on every single landing page, right? But people spend nearly 2 minutes on this page when they arrive here, and 14.5% of the people that go to this page continue and go to the contact us page. Now, they don't all fill in the form, but that is a lot of people that look at this and go, oh yeah, let's go and see what their contact details are, right? So it's really important, this page, right? And it's really important that you include some of that content on your landing pages as well, every single one, okay? Now, testimonials are great. You can obviously use external review systems as well. You've got Google Reviews, Trustpilot, which has a free version or a paid version. If you're a tradesperson, you've got Which Local, or if you're a letting agent, you've got Rater Agent. So for you guys, the majority of you, probably the best one to use is Google, right? Especially if you've got a local shop like you, Thomas. That one is perfect, right? Because people are gonna use it when they're trying to find your shop anyway. So that one's really important. Week 6 of this course, we just focus on Google My Business and the maps and the local listing. So we'll get a lot more detail there. But here is an example of the Google Maps listing when you search for guaranteed rent or a letting agent Enfield, right? And you can see that one of Central Housing Group, which is our customers' competitors, this is an old screenshot, he's got more than 83 now, but his competitor has got 70 reviews and a 2.5-star rating, right? So which one do you think people are going to click on most of these three which pop up? They're going to click on the one which has a better star rating and a higher number. So you cannot underemphasize how important this is to, one, drive more traffic to your website and convince people even before they've arrived at your website that you're probably the company that they're going to choose because other people have already tried you, right? This is so important, right? The other things that you should include on your kind of landing pages, if you can, is case studies. So this is the company, the upholstery company where I showed you their thank you page. They take pictures of all of their stuff as it goes through their factory, and they just upload those with a little gallery on the site. We go in and build in keywords to make sure that the thing ranks higher for certain terms. But you can see on this case study, we've gone the extra mile and put the testimonial that the client has given them with it, right? Now, if you can get a small picture and a link to the full case study, so if you can have case studies that relate to that landing page, then it's going to increase your conversion rate, right? These guys have gone the extra mile, and on their testimonials page, it links back to their case study page. So it means that the testimonial, even though the testimonial is only 2 sentences, on another website, if without that link and that picture, it would be not very compelling. But with the picture of the customer and the actual picture of the case study with the gallery of pictures and the description, it means that even that tiny testimonial is real, right? And it gives it more gravitas, right? The other thing that you can put on your landing pages is wow stats. If you have done what you do for lots of other people, then just put it on there. People don't like to think that they're the pioneer when they're buying something or doing something, right? They want to know that other people have done it and they feel trust in what you're doing, right? So these are just some stats that kind of we pulled out from 2019. We delivered 45 million advert views in 2019. We had 1.2 million website visits driven by the adverts, and that resulted in 118,000 sales or inquiries for our clients, which is a huge amount of business, right? And it just reassures people that they're not alone, that they're, you've done it before, you're doing it for other people, you've got experience doing it. So if you've got wow stats, put that on your landing pages as well. Other things you can do is include company logos. If you're business to business, then that is important for you. But you want to make sure that the companies that you list on here relate to your target audience. If you're after small to medium businesses, don't put British Airways on there because they'll think, well, actually, these are big players. They're probably too big for me, right? Whereas if you're after massive international companies, put on big company logos, right? Match the logos and this to your avatar. And then if you've got them, any accreditations or awards. At ClickReturn, we're qualified Google partners. We are not premier Google partners. The only difference between a normal partner and a premier partner is not how qualified we are, it is just simply how much money we put into Google's bank accounts from our customers. So we do exactly the same. I've just not got to the point where I'm putting 3 million a year in there, right? If you are winning awards, put them on your website. This is John Cottrell, he's my business coach. He is winning awards with his clients year on year. So we add those onto the website because it shows that you are a level above your competitors. Right? So add those to the sites as well. So it's really important that you show your authority. This section is so important. We're going to do more detail on it later in the course, but this is what you need to add to each of your landing pages, right? So lots of this stuff will mean that your landing pages are massive, right? But if you include this stuff on your pages, more people will push the button, which is buy now, or get me a quote, or make reserve my, book my hair appointment, right? So I want in the chat now, we've kind of got a few minutes left before the end. do you show your authority? You can either unmute yourself, and just what is your strongest point of any of these, and what is your weakest, what you need to work on. So if you've got testimonials, Andrew's put, what if you have no social proof? Then you've got to start asking for it, Andrew. Right? And I know.
Yeah, I was just starting off, Brad. I haven't even made any sales yet. So
yeah. Jane also put a TED talk about the why, the what, and the how. That is a fabulous book. I've seen that one as well, Jane. Yeah, but so when you're starting out, Andrew, you don't have social proof. But what you need to get the process in place so that when you do sell a piece, you ask for the social proof, right?
Okay.
Because what you know, and I have this with lots of customers, and they, you know, they're like, oh yeah, I've been trading for 10 years, and you know, I'm just revamping my website. And you kind of go, okay, have you got any testimonials and reviews? I go, well, they go, well, I've got some, and they give you 3, and yet they.
How would I go about it, Brad? I just like, so when someone says buys a piece, I just send them an email saying, could you please leave a review?
100%, yes. So when you're on when you're on your Google My Business homepage, right? Sorry, when you're logged into Google My Business, in the homepage there is a little section which is ask for reviews, and it will give you the simple link to send to people. Right? So you just need to put it in place to ask people. Now, you know, things like Trustpilot and FIFO and reviews and things like that, which are these external review systems, they're kind of, it's built into them. But when you use the free version, it puts a barrier in between people. They need to log into the system to leave the review. With the paid version, it's nice and simple. That's where they kind of give you the free version, but it's actually rubbish. Don't use it, right?
Okay.
But the paid versions are quite expensive. So for you guys, unless you want to start paying for it, use Google My Business and Google Reviews. So Jane has put weakest is testimonials, accreditation, case studies. But I have linked the beer company I use, problem solved. As strong as its benefits. Okay. Can you explain that, Jane? I'm not sure I understand.
So the beer contains soap and tea. So I contacted the beer company and said, I want to use your beer and my soap. That means I want to use your logo. And so they said, yes, yes, and yes. And they said they'd also put stuff in their little bar. They've got a bar with it's a microbrewery, kind of very small brewery. And they have like a little pub place as well. So they said they put my soap in the pub place as well. And trouble is they had to close because of COVID, and they're just about to reopen. So, but I have got their logo on my label for my soap as well as on the website.
Okay, perfect.
So that works quite well.
Excellent. That's good. So you're piggybacking off of their brand. That's good.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Yeah. I wanted to do the same with Dorset Tea, but actually Dorset Tea is not made in Dorset. Sandbanks Brewery is actually brewed in Dorset, but Dorset Tea is not. It's up north somewhere.
There you go. So Jason's put weak is lack of testimonials, case studies, and benefits. Yeah, I mean, the key is you've just got to ask. You know, the difficult thing is if people are borrowing money, Jason, they might not always want to admit it publicly. But you just got to ask. Yeah, okay. So that's kind of the last thing you need to add to your landing pages. But obviously we've just kind of, you might have filled that in on your homepage, but you need to repeat that process for all of your landing pages, right? So you need to go, you know, so each individual product, Andrew, people are going to arrive at an individual product, especially if you're promoting an individual picture on Facebook or Instagram, you want them to go straight to the product. So you need to make sure that that process that we've just been through, you need to apply that level of thinking to every single product page.
Every single product, okay, yeah.
Every single product. And especially, you know, I know that we're not kind of looking at online advertising at this point, but the way that Google Shopping works is it grabs the information from the product title and the product description. So you need to think, so you need to write the titles not just so they're pretty for your use, but they need to contain the keywords that you want people to find them for as well.
Yeah.
Yep. And that we'll come to the keywords and stuff in kind of week 4. So I know we've kind of gone through a lot about the landing pages. Just a few more minutes left. So any questions about this, what we've gone through this week? No, that means that I've done exceptionally well.
Job done.
Job done. Now, at this point, I know it can feel like heart surgery, right? Because you're kind of looking at that thinking, oh my God, none of my pages have got any of this stuff, right? But you don't need to do all of the pages all at once, but if you've got all of this in mind when you're creating your next page or when you're reviewing the page that is getting the most traffic, right? So if you've already got a website and you're wondering where to start, go look at the page which has the most traffic and apply this to that page first. Right? Now, in all cases, that is going to be your home page. So start with your home page and then move on to the other pages after that. Okay. But we are here to help. It is a big, it's a hill, not a mountain to climb. So we are here to help. All you've got to do is ask if you want to. On our click return / workbooks page, there is an area where you can request an hour with me, but you don't need to do that now. I know, Thomas, we've already had our catch up already, and some of your others we have, but some of you guys might want to wait till the end, of course, if you haven't done it already. Right. Week 3. So next week, we're going to look at the different marketing channels and how they're applicable to different businesses and different avatars and different targeting. We're going to look at referral programs and email marketing. So next Tuesday, that is what we're going to be going through. Week 4, we'll be looking at custom workbooks. So next week, what I would like you to come to the table with already is if my team haven't already asked you the question as to what keywords are relevant to you, then I'll ask you that next week. But I think I might already have that for most of you guys. I'll check that next week. If you need to book an appointment with me, it's on that page. I'm going to stop the recording now.